There's no secret that the New York Jets are in the market for a number one wide receiver, but could we be turning over stones we've already looked under? Could Robby Anderson be coming back to New York?
Jets, Jets!
All right, welcome in. My name's Ryan. I'll be your pilot. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button. If you've been here before, welcome back. I love having you here. Boys and girls, we are talking a little number one wide receiver news. This is a rumor coming out about Robby Anderson, former New York Jet wide receiver, and could he possibly be coming back to New York? Now, this rumor comes from DJ Bieniemy in an article where he talks about 5 wide receivers that could be traded or picked up via free agency or trade for the New York Jets to solve wide receiver 1. Now, he says if Anderson is moved, the Jets are his preferred destination, a source said. He feels like he has unfinished business in New York and likes Zach Wilson's talent. So there is a lot of he said, she said, anonymous source this, anonymous source that. So a lot of things to kind of, sort of dive into. What are we looking at? Does it make sense for the New York Jets to even bring in Robby Anderson? Why would he really want to come back? Does he really see Zach Wilson as being like the guy that he wants to hitch his wagon to? Now, Robby Anderson, you obviously would have to trade for him. Let's go, a little bit back through that. He has 2 years remaining left on his contract. He has $12.8 million if traded this year, and he has $11.8 million next year. So the question isn't so much would you like to have Robby Anderson back, it's would you like to have Robby Anderson back for the Jets at his current contract and give up some assets to go out and get him. So there's a little bit more than just wanting Robby back or Robby just wanting to come back. Now, I would say this. I think the Jets had a weapon in Robby that they should have never let go in 2020. Although we had a very weird situation on our hands. And it's not so much weird as in, like, Robby being weird. It's sort of like where our quarterback situation was. For whatever reason, Sam Darnold just could not find a way to connect the deep ball down the field. That happened with Robby Anderson, and that happened the following year with Brashad Perriman as well. So it was odd to see that sort of dynamic. So I don't think we could have taken advantage of the full skill set of Robby during Sam's final year in New York. But Zach Wilson has an entirely different set of skill sets, things that he's better at than Sam Darnold. And could that bode well for a reunion with Robby Anderson? I would say this. I don't have any real interest in trading for Robby Anderson. There's a lot of other wide receivers that I think are going to be available come free agency or become available via trade that I would feel more confident getting a better return on our investment than Robby Anderson at like $12 or $13 million a year. Guys like maybe a Jarvis Landry, who's going to be cut from the Browns more than likely. Amari Cooper is either going to... I think he's a better wide receiver. I think he could get traded and renegotiate his deal. But if you're giving me the option to trade between like a whole bunch of different guys, Robby Anderson doesn't really get towards the top of the list. Like I'm probably throwing Calvin Ridley, Chase Claypool, Michael Thomas, DK Metcalf. Like the list kind of goes on and on. Like even on his own team, I'd probably look for more as opposed to Robby Anderson. So I don't know. It's interesting. Robby has a soft spot in my heart. He really does because he played, to what would have been our caliber A player. And he was on, a lot of bad Jet teams. And we saw what he could have possibly been, and it just didn't quite work out. So there is part of me that thinks, yeah, there is some unfinished business here in New York. But there's another part of me that really thinks, you know what? I think I'd rather go a different way. It's a clean break at this point. Bring in some young, fresh blood through the draft, or go out and get a different guy that you haven't seen in green and white before. Someone that maybe, maybe a little more motivated in a new situation as opposed to a guy that says he may want to be here, but also might hold a grudge against the GM that let him go. So I'm not sure I necessarily buy this rumor. I don't think he's really an option for the New York Jets. But you guys let me know down below in the comments. Are the Jets a realistic landing spot for Robby Anderson? Do you think there's a situation where he winds up getting cut and comes back to the New York Jets? That's, I guess, a situation you could talk about as well. Let me know in the comment section down below. And as always, go Jets.